Good afternoon, and welcome to the Board of County Commissioners or commission meeting of Tuesday, February 25th, 2020. And we'll start with introductions. I'm John Hutchins, the chair of the board, and to my left is
Gary Edwards.
Am I right? And Amy Davis is the clerk of the board. Welcome, Amy. And we have Ramiro Chavez. Go ahead.
Chavez, county manager.
And Robin Campbell. There we go, assistant county manager. With that, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Commissioner Edwards, please.
If you join me and if you lose your place, it's up on the wall. I just like to let everybody know that. I pledge allegiance
to
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic
for which it stands, one nation,
under God,
indivisible,
with liberty and justice for all. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. And with that, do we have an approval of the agenda for today?
To approve agenda for Tuesday, February 25th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the February 25th agenda. Any amendments or additions, changes?
No, sir.
Nope. All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. A motion carries. And a motion for the board meeting minutes from February 11th?
Move to approve board meeting minutes from February 11th.
Second.
It sure sounds like we're getting dangerously close to feedback. It's been moved and seconded to approve the board meeting minutes from February 11th, 2020. Any changes or corrections?
No, sir.
No.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That motion carries. And now we're to the portion of the agenda for public comment. And so I have a list of folks here, and I will call you up in order of signing in. And when you come to the podium, please state your name and where you live in the county. And some rules to guide us is please address the board and not the audience. Please, if you haven't, silence your phones already. If you haven't already, silence your phones. We don't respond to public comment. This is the time for the public to address the board. So don't expect an answer or question, answer, debate, and such. Speakers are limited to 3 minutes. The board or the timer is up here on the board. Amy has the clicker, the timer, that will time down to a chime, and that lets you know your time is up. Speakers are not allowed to donate their time to another person, and the board reserves the right to restrict a person's opportunity to address the meeting for good cause. No comments that are lewd, offensive, inflammatory, hateful, defamatory, or discriminatory in nature, please. We ask you please be respectful. No outbursts of any kind. No comments that are commercial in nature, such as a promotion for a for-profit business. Any materials that are provided to the county may be considered public records and subject to public records release upon request pursuant to the Public Records Act, Chapter 42.56 of the RCW. And any remarks about pending land use permits or similar matters that could eventually come before the board on appeal are not allowed either. Thank you for your cooperation. Appreciate that. So with that, with the timer set, the first one is Dottie Cole, followed by Jack Grimes.
My name is Dottie Cole, and I live down in the Nisqually Valley. Was recently flooded and have great concerns with what's going on. Number one, FEMA is not covering anything because we were not declared a national disaster. We have homes that were completely destroyed. We have damages that our homeowners refuse to pay. And we would like your help in going after Tacoma Public Utilities. My biggest concern for the three of you, and I understand you have family life, but on Saturday when we all got back into our homes, there was no one down there to walk through it with us. The emotional state, the trauma to my children is affecting them. They wake up in the night wanting to know if we have to leave our home. Even though it was not in my home, it was in my garage. I lost about $3,000 worth of furniture that had been donated to our foster closet for our foster children in Washington. I cannot recover that. I was told yesterday that my garage probably will have to come down and rebuild. I don't have that at my age. I want to go into retirement. I'm raising children out of the foster system right now, and I'm trying to take care of them as well. And I'm hoping that you all will address our concerns in a private meeting with Nisqually Valley flood victims to help us out. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. County Manager, will there be follow-up comments after this public comment regarding that?
Yes.
The plans to come and what we've done and can do? Okay. Jack Grimes, followed by Nancy Huddleston.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Thank you for this opportunity to address the board. My name is Jack Grimes, and I live on 76th Avenue Northeast in North Thurston County. My concern is that the issues with the budget and the high taxes that we pay here in Thurston County. I believe that you as commissioners have a responsibility to pass a balanced budget and not continue to just piecemeal things into each of your meetings, but a budget at one time. You should have the funds budgeted appropriately and hold the managers of the different divisions accountable for staying within their budget, as well as them sharing with the need for and the expense of the new renovation or new office structures here. The issue, the biggest issue that just happened in the last couple of weeks, we got our new property tax statements, and I venture to say that most people in the county saw an increase in their taxes, and it's time to start looking for ways to lower taxes, not increase them. We're facing a special election in April for another tax increase, and the county is spending $177,000 to do this. I think that money could have been better spent. The current rate of taxes in the county, we're paying approximately $12 a thousand in our current value. That'll vary by location. I know the county only gets a very small portion of this. However, the overall burden falls on us as homeowners. And eventually, when we have the tax increases, it requires us to find ways to cut our budget. We don't have ways to increase it because we can't arbitrarily levy more taxes. There appears to be a pervasive misconception by all of our elected officials at all levels, from the state all the way down to local school districts and fire districts, that we all have more money that we can donate every year to be able to manage all of the needs that we have. We need to start living on the budget. That includes the county and local governments. We are the 7th highest tax county in the state of Washington, and it's time for the residents of the Thurston County to start making it known that they have had enough and it's time for a change. Thank you.
Thank you. Nancy Huddleston, followed by Kara Potts.
My name is Nancy Huddleston. I am a crime victim. I have been a crime victim for burglaries since I've lived in the Yelm area. Also identity theft, forgery. There have been 5 known offenders. Nothing has ever happened to any of them. No consequences. I am here to simply bring awareness that crime victims, I feel, and I am not alone, I've talked to other crime victims, are further victimized by the processes in this county, starting with dispatch, and I'm sorry, but going on to the sheriff's office, the prosecutor's office, and even the courts. When dispatch is called with a burglar alarm, oh, I'm sorry, that's not what we normally do because there are so many false alarms. I wasn't aware they were clairvoyant. Fortunately, I had a camera that showed that someone was reaching for the camera. Then law enforcement was called. Law enforcement, when they responded, did a magnificent job. Then things fall apart. Goes to the sheriff's office, goes through heaven only knows how many hands. Took over a week to get it to the prosecutor's office, and I understand that that was rapid. It's been at the prosecutor's office with a known offender since the 15th of January. It'll be 6 weeks tomorrow. Nothing has been done. It hasn't even been read. It is still in review status as of, about 45 minutes ago. The consequences of the inaction, and I know property crime is not a priority. Personal crime where there's been injury or death is certainly a priority. But crime victims like myself are reaching the point of extreme frustration. There is nothing to stop the criminals from continuing to do it over and over and over again because there are never any consequences for their actions. Even when it gets to court, I know of one case that had more than 4 felonies against the offender, and the offender was released on personal recognizance. What does that say to the crime victim? The crime victims are not important, but our frustration is reaching a boiling point. I just wanted to bring the awareness to the council. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Kara Potts, followed by John Pettit.
Hi, my name is Kara Potts. I live on 6th Avenue Southeast down in Nisqually Valley. My family and I, who have only lived there for about a year now, we moved from California. We were not aware of the flooding or anything like that of this case. My parents' garage, when we left and went back, on Friday, the amount of water was to my shoulders. On Saturday and when we went back, so the water was at my shoulders on Thursday at the peak of the height. I went back with my brothers on Friday and Saturday, at which point it was at my waist. My dad has spent his whole life, gathering all of his items. We still had baby pictures. We had, personal belongings, everything in that garage. And we didn't have flood insurance because they make it so difficult to do so. And we tried to, can we backfill the yard because it's so low? They say no. Can we build a retaining wall? They say no. We can't do nothing to prevent the water from getting to our properties and damaging our belongings. Some of those items you can't put a value on because they're irreplaceable. We can't go back in time and become babies again or anything, And it's really frustrating because we seem to be having no help because it wasn't our living space that was damaged. And I would just like to get some help with everything. And now our property values have decreased a lot as well because of everything. Nobody would come out and provide sandbags. Nobody would do anything. It was, oh, you can come here and get them yourself. We call that number. Oh, we don't have none. Who told you that? Appreciate the help. Yeah. So, thank you.
Thank you. John Pettit, followed by Madeline Bishop.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I'm John Pettit. I live out at Rich Road. You're well familiar with me. There's several things I wanted to talk about. I'm not sure any of them meet the level of some of the frustration some of these other people have talked about, concerns for their very safety. Guess we don't have enough sheriffs on the road, but maybe we can just build a new courthouse or something instead, okay? Maybe we can just spend $177,000 to have an election instead of another deputy on the road. I mean, there's lots of decisions made, and the citizens don't forget about the decisions people make. In fact, we get this record. I was enjoying this beautiful day. I walk in and I see the courthouse, and I thought, you know, it would be so nice if all those roofs that we hear about being so bad were taken care of. And then I remember 2 of you voted not to do the maintenance on this building for another 5 years in regards to those roofs. Why would you not want to make this place good? Maybe just to promote something, I don't know. I wanted to bring a little awareness to you that currently the county has $51 million in bond debt. Out of that bond debt's kind of an interesting fact, not everyone would know, but did you know that not one of those dollars of the bond debt that Thurston County has right now did the voters ever get to vote on? Not $1. It's kind of like the way this proposition that's being proposed is set up is the voters don't really get to vote on it. It's strictly up to commissioners, to you guys decide. Well, I'm going to tell you a little something, which I think is real important. There's kind of a historical aspect that people do remember. We remember building a jail when we said no. We remember when people tell people no and they don't work. My point being is this. All of you are elected for 4-year terms. All of you have to carry with you the weight of the decisions you make each year, whether it be removing maintenance or building more facilities. I understand the county's about ready to step in another $19 to $20 million of bonds to build more jail facility without a vote of the people. You guys need to rethink. And the last time we actually had a commissioner in office elected for a second term, taking him to an 8-year term, was back in 2012. We remove people who don't make good decisions. The only other quick thing I wanted to bring up was about the free bus rides. I know Commissioner Menzer's on that council for the intercity transit, and free isn't really free. $130 million of budget, about 4,500,000 rides a year, $29.11 per ride. Every time someone steps on a bus, gets back off, $29.11 free ride? No, taxpayer dollar ride. Thank you.
Madeline Bishop, followed by Josh Stottlemyre.
Hi.
Yeah, just a moment, ma'am. Just hang on, I just want to get the time. There we go.
Hi. I'm Madeline Bishop from unincorporated Thurston County with an Olympia address, and I'm coming to ask you a favor. I want you to take every opportunity to spread the truth about our unhoused population. Recently, a hate group came into our area working to weaponize homelessness in a campaign of lies. In their view, the layabouts in our tent cities don't need public investments in affordable housing and social services. They just need a little tough love. Enforce the vagrancy laws, bulldoze their encampments, and lock them up. Contrary to this ignorant, hateful narrative, nearly half the adult homeless people are employed full or part-time. The truth is, if you are making minimum wage or living on Social Security or SSI benefits, you cannot find affordable housing. As long as incomes fail to keep up with the cost of living, we will have increasing homelessness. I'm asking you to increase the effort to educate people about the demographics of the homeless in Thurston. The Housing Project's data report for the third quarter reports that 8% of Thurston homeless are fleeing domestic violence. I'd say these victims have had enough tough love. 5% of Thurston homeless who are veterans are dishonored when they are labeled as deviants. The 22% who are homeless children do not deserve to have the jackboots come along and destroy their meager belongings. We have people with physical and mental disabilities who are cold, wet, and hungry, and I say we have made them uncomfortable enough. For the reported 19% of Thurston homeless with substance abuse problems, King County Prosecuting Attorney Dan Satterberg said, "It's cheaper to help people than it is to punish them." Frankly, if prosecuting people who had drug addiction worked, we wouldn't have a drug problem today. A diverse group of people are being labeled and ostracized as dirty, deviant lawbreakers. When we stereotype people as others, we distance ourselves from their humanity. So I'm just asking you to please educate, lobby, and challenge those who demonize the homeless. Thank you. I'll provide Mr. Chavez a copy of my resources and my words. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. Josh Stottlemyre, followed by Jeff Hereford.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I have several things to talk to you guys about today. First of all, I just want to reiterate my opposition to docket consideration item CP17, the North Point Maytown project. And I'll let you know that as of today, we have had 228 new signatures on our petition opposing the rezone of the land that we will deliver to the appropriate person this week. The second item I'd like to talk to you about is my support for CP16 and CP8, the conservation and support of agriculture in the county. I think that's very important. And I do want to let you know, although it's in front of the Planning Commission, I do oppose the code designation of the farmlands with mineral lands. Taking farmlands and stripping them down makes them pretty much useless as farmlands. So the next item I want to talk to you about is docket item A19. I want you to know that I oppose working on the wireless communication facilities at this time. Here's the reasons why. Currently, there are 20 different cities in one lawsuit and 13 different in another lawsuit fighting against the new FCC rules for implementing cell sites. These include Seattle, Tacoma, Gig Harbor, Kirkland, Bellingham, Issaquah, Portland, Los Angeles, Burien, San Francisco, Austin, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Major cities and small ones alike. The new rules remove local control. That is what they're fighting against. They severely hinder local governments' ability to fulfill public health and safety responsibilities during locating, constructing, and modifying cell sites. I strongly encourage you to wait until these lawsuits are settled before you do further implementation of these rules. Otherwise, you're either going back and doing them later, or we're stuck with rules that are unfair and really don't work for our county and its residents. The final thing I wanted to talk to you about is today the US CDC announced that it is not a matter of if the coronavirus will spread in the US, but when. The World Health Organization has echoed these sentiments and stated that municipalities have been vastly underprepared. I have not seen this item on the Board of Health agenda yet. I think it's very important, number one priority, that this does get added to the agenda. Even if we only see a fraction of the cases that they're seeing in other places of the world, we do not have enough hospital beds to handle the influx. I will end it with that. Thank you very much for your time and listening.
Thank you, sir. Jeff Hereford, followed by Kyler Danielson.
Afternoon. Jeff Hereford with representing Lakeside Industries from the Nisqually Valley. Heart goes out to you guys that were of the houses there in the Nisqually Valley. We feel some of your pain there. But the real reason I'm here is to talk about the comp plan and the docket. We're trying to allow RAP in our facility there. We've been on the docket before in 2017 and currently on the docket and would hope to remain there. And moving forward at Lakeside's expense and will not restrict the county's budget. And also the amendment is nearing the finish line, and so a vote could happen soon. And third, if approved, it could ultimately extend the county's funds for road and construction and infrastructure projects in the future. So that's all I really have to say. Thanks.
All right, thank you, sir. Tyler Danielson, followed by Brian Willard. Thank you for being attentive.
I'm Kyler Danielson. I'm also with Lakeside Industries, but I'm here on something completely different. On the agenda today, we have a proposed road vacation for a property down in South Thurston County off of Tilley Road. We recently discovered that there were some right-of-ways that are within our gated area that we didn't know about, and so we just wanted to seek road vacations for those and clear our title. We don't have any proposed changes to that property or any new applications on that. We're simply clearing title on that property. So we look forward to hearing what you decide later today. Thanks.
All right, thank you. And Brian Willard, followed by Frank Turner.
No, it's okay. You're fine.
Hey, you're on.
Hello, I'm Brian Willard. My house resides over at 6th Avenue. I was not in a flood zone. I was actually, when I bought the house, it was 0.2% chance of a flood. I'm currently displaced, disabled veteran with 3 children, one of which is special needs. To talk about this dam, that 2.2% chance of a flood was natural flood, but Tacoma Power Company owns and operates that dam. And it is common law holds that the storage of water is a hazardous activity. Dams operated by individual, private, or public organizations and government are responsible for maintaining dam safety. A dam failure resulting in uncontrollable release of water reservoir can have devastating effects on the persons and property downstream, tens of thousands public, private dam owners of the United States, and that includes areas that are not designated with flood zones that are impacted. And looking at the Tacoma Power Company on their website with their dam information, their authority, the Federal Power Act Code of Federal Regulation, Volume 18, Part 2, Part 1-2 contains the dam safety regulations. They must abide by all safety federal regulations of the dam. Also, the dam safety is a cooperative effort between licensees, consultants, and federal energy regulatory commissions. But, quotations, licensees shall be liable for all damages occasioned to the property of others by the construction, maintenance, or operation of the public works. And we lost a lot. I've in about $100,000 worth of damages of my house. It's currently unlivable. It's been gutted out down to the subfloor, had 12 inches of water from the subfloor up. The loss is immense. The personal loss, I'll get over that because I don't even know what was destroyed and what was not. But the physical loss in the structures, it's gonna rattle us in debt. I don't have a house anymore. We put our lives into this, and it's gonna bankrupt us. And for Tacoma Power Company to sit back and to say it would have been 25% worse if we didn't let the water out is absolutely unacceptable. And then what about the charges that cost the Thurston County? $15,000 to $25,000. What about the emergency services that will provide all the sandbags? That costs money. That comes out of our pockets. Tacoma Power Company should be liable. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. And Frank Turner.
Good afternoon. I'm Frank Turner, and I live in Olympia. I'm here as a member of the Thurston Climate Action Team. I belong to several other groups that are seeking an organized approach to climate change. I've come here to urge you to continue to develop and to implement the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan that's now under development. This has to do with climate change, and the evidence for climate change is strong. We can see a lot of it with our own eyes. There's melting polar ice, retreating glaciers, warming sea, and flooding. Scientists have been predicting all this for decades, but change is coming a lot faster than they predicted. People all over the world are taking action and asking their leaders to lead on climate. Despite inconsistent support from our federal government, individuals have made much progress. The majority of Americans are aware of climate change and want to come to grips with it. I used to be concerned mainly for my grandchildren. Now I believe that my children and even my own generation are going to be dealing with the consequences of a warming planet. We're fortunate to have some warning. We must heed it. We can't ignore it, even if we're confused and skeptical. Our new normal, it's going to be hard to predict, rising seas, food shortages, new diseases. How will we have to change our lives to meet this challenge? Inaction is not an option. The situation we face requires timely community action. Our goal is clear, but our path is uncertain. Luckily, this is a community that's unafraid to face uncertainty. You and the elected leaders of Lacey, Tumwater, and Olympia have supported the development of this Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan. This is what's been lacking up until now, and we need the plan. In our community, you'll have the support of thousands of individuals and scores of climate organizations as you proceed with this plan. We applaud the inclusion of the tree ordinance. The county tree ordinance is now being studied again in the work plan. We will be here to support you as we all go forward with this climate mitigation plan. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. That exhausts the list of folks that have signed up, but if there's anybody in the gallery that would like to address the board that has not signed up, you have an opportunity to do so if you haven't spoken already. Please, sir. What's your name and address? Thank you.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Chris Van Dalen. I live in Olympia at 3203 Lawrence Street. And I'm here today on behalf of the Northwest Eco Building Guild, organization I've been a part of for the last 15 years. Worked with the county quite a bit to develop some of the county's own green building initiatives and programs through working with solid waste. And I'm also a member of the Thurston Climate Action Team. Our organization represents more than 1,000 individuals who are active participants in the Climate Action Team. And as you know, the Thurston Climate Mitigation Plan is in development. I've been serving on the Climate Action Advisory Work Group, which is, and I'm primarily working on the buildings and energy task force sector group within that. 50% of our carbon emissions in Thurston County come from buildings, and it's a really great opportunity, not only a challenge, but an opportunity to tackle carbon emissions from buildings, because it is technically feasible and more cost effective to build buildings that are so energy efficient that they only need a little bit of renewable energy to bring them to a net zero energy capability. Now, this is good for local manufacturers such as Small Planet Supply that represents a number of different manufactured products, and they are down at the industrial park across from the airport down in the South County, in the south of Olympia, or in Tumwater there. And it's also, the plan itself has both some mandates to get us toward a zero energy future, but it also has a lot of market incentives and market-based approaches to help augment that and to move us as a community. And so there's great opportunity here for people throughout the Thurston County to benefit, especially folks who have agricultural land. There's a potential to be growing carbon or doing carbon farming to pull carbon out of the atmosphere at the same time as producing agricultural products. So there could be a double revenue source for some farmers. There's also solar farms that can be created, and a lot of other economic opportunities that come with addressing the challenge of climate change. Now, as you know, as the previous speaker mentioned, the crisis is getting getting worse very rapidly. And so it does present a threat to our future as a county, to our children and our grandchildren's future, as well as all the other species of creatures that we share this planet with. So I urge you to support the climate mitigation plan, and we'll be coming back later to talk more about specific actions around around buildings, transportation, agriculture, and forestry that can be taken. So as a part of the plan, but I urge you to prepare now by training staff, getting ready to implement this plan once it's been approved and brought back to the commission. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Is there anybody else that would like to address the board? Anyone? Anyone? All right, thank you. County Manager?
Thank you, Commissioners. Can you hear me okay back there? I'd like to follow up on this morning. You had another briefing related to the Nisqually flooding. And I'd just like to echo the sentiment of the Commissioners as to how much you are heartfelt to the impacts that you have received during the flooding. This morning, you received some information from your Emergency Management Director, and we're working and we have submitted information to the state. And there's two elements on that submission. One is the individual assistance, and the other one is public assistance. And there's a procedure in which we need to provide information related to the dollar amounts of the damage incurred into those individual properties. So as of February 20th, we have made an assessment that 25 residents have reported a total of $721,554 in home and property damage. Damage assessment conducted by the American Red Cross Emergency Management from the county and the Washington Conservation Corps also identified 116 additional residences that perhaps they have sustained damages as well. That information has already been submitted to the state, and with the hope they can implement this individual assistance program. We will continue to pursue that effort. Also, that information will be submitted to the federal government with the hope the federal government will declare a state of emergency. As a result, will open up additional funding sources and resources. Also, we submitted under a different program, which is the public assistance. And you heard this morning, Commissioners, that in the public assistance side, the Thurston County government spent $54,771 responding to this emergency. Lacey Fire District 3 spent $4,399 related to this emergency. In City of Olympia, and this is a little bit different because this is related to the storm itself, not just for the flooding, to spend $2,578,000 for a total in the county of $2,637,170. The City of Olympia, as you probably heard on the news, one of the sewer lines broke as a result of a tree going down, and as a result of that, it had to respond in those terms. Without getting too complicated on the process, there is a threshold in the county when we can report damages related to a specific emergency or storm. In this case, we need to meet at least $1 million. So based on the $2.6 million that we have experienced, we have met the threshold, and we also have submitted for public assistance. And that is in the process. We'll continue to pursue that with the state as well as with the federal government. Related to the mitigation, the emergency services receive grants from the state to elevate structures that are within the floodplain. And we have exercised the availability of those grants. We have received some grants, and in fact, we have helped citizens within the whole floodplain to elevate those structures. We're going to be continuing to explore those options, and we're going to start doing a survey of the properties damaged as a result of the Nisqually flooding to see what properties can qualify to get to the elevated structures. More to come on that. Related to the Mr. Brian Willard testimony, thank you for your service, first of all. I believe we have connected you with Mr. Mark Moffett. He is the manager of the Veterans Assistance Program, And he will be in touch with you if he hasn't done so already as to how we can probably help you and your family dealing with this emergency. Also this morning, commissioners, you discussed the possibility of having a meeting, a town hall meeting with all of you to hear firsthand your perspectives. And the reason as to why the commissioners perhaps have not reached out to you sooner is because we need to make sure that we respond within our means to that emergency. But certainly the commissioners would love to hear that directly from you. So we're hoping to schedule a town hall meeting maybe in the next 3-4 weeks. And we certainly will let you know when, the time and location of that meeting. Also this morning, the commissioners were tasked me to look for some options related to Tacoma Public Utilities and what else the county can do related to that particular matter. I believe that's what I have as an update related to your testimony.
You have anything you'd like to say or add?
Only that there's a lot of complicated issues that I personally didn't understand, and before we reach out and really try to answer citizens' questions, we sort of have to have the answers. So we're gathering a lot of information about what the legal landscape looks like and who did what and who should have done what, and then hopefully we can answer a lot of questions for folks.
Commissioner, anything?
Well, I would just echo the concern that's been brought up here this afternoon, that I feel whether Tacoma Power is a flood authority or not, which they claim not to be, they claim to be a power authority, but I think they do have a responsibility to ensure that citizens' property is protected. So we're going to be looking into it.
And I have the utmost heartfelt empathy for the flood victims. And Friday morning, I went out personally to the evacuation site and met with American Red Cross staff. And I did that again on Saturday morning to check in and see how many people were there, see what else the county could do to help assist the American Red Cross and the victims. I was in contact with the county manager who kept me updated on what was going on, public health as well, Kurt Harden with the Emergency Management Services, Chris Wells, the director of United Way, and other community groups and organizations to try to garner whatever support we could and bolster, kind of sandbag ourselves to help the flood victims as well. I wasn't there to walk through people's homes and such when they returned, but we did everything that we could, and we're still continuing to do what we can to assist the poor folks. And I mean that sincerely, even especially the ones not even here who couldn't get here for whatever reason. Thank you. All right, that takes us to agenda item number 2, the county manager's update.
That
You
was,
probably just did it.
yep, I just did. Thank you.
Thank you, folks. Is that it? Nothing more?
No, at this
Okay.
point, Commissioners.
Agenda item number 3 then is the consent items A through L.
I move to approve consent items 3A through 3L.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve consent items A through L. Any further discussion on any of those items?
No, sir.
Considerable items. Yep.
No.
Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. That passes. Agenda item number 4, Superior Court Drug Court Treatment Services Contact. And Sabrina. Yep, come on up, Sabrina Craig. Program Manager. Yay.
Good afternoon. I'm here to request that you approve our treatment services contract with Pierce County Alliance for continued treatment services for the DUI drug court participants in the Thurston County Superior Court DUI drug court program.
Okay, questions of Sabrina?
Well, I would like to point out that this is an alignment of other contracts coming together, and so we're going to hear more about it later on as well.
Any questions or comments?
No, covered it this morning. Thank you, Sabrina.
Okay.
And this is from December 2019 through June 30, 2020,
Yes, sir.
6 months.
Yes, yes. The goal is to align that contract with our criminal justice treatment account contract as well, which is monies that we obtained from the state. We're a pass-through so that our contracts line up date-wise.
Now, what's that have to do with Medicare costs?
The Medicaid is also one of the resources used in the Thurston County DUI Drug Court Treatment Services. So our contract with PCA is a cobbling of sorts of all the different payment types to ensure that all costs are covered for Pierce County Alliance, providing a capacity contract to ensure that we always have the staff and the services available, no matter how big or small our census.
Got it, okay. Anything else? Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve the Drug Court Treatment Services contract with Pierce County Alliance in the amount of $426,709.50 for treatment services from December 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2020.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the Drug Court Treatment Services contract. All in favor, say aye.
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 That carried, motion, aye, that motion carries. Sabrina, thank you, ma'am. Number 5, Public Works right-of-way vacation request. Craig Sisson, hey. Nice to see you again, Craig.
It's been a while.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. I am Craig Sisson. I am the Real Estate Manager for Public Works. I'm here on the road vacation. The first one up is the Bergvall Stoker agenda item. On January 14th, 2020, a public hearing was held on the vacation of a portion of platted 6th Street. Platted 6th Street is unopened right-of-way in the plat of Boston Harbor and is now known as 69th Way Northeast. This right-of-way was dedicated to Thurston County by plat recorded under Auditor's File Number 38315 on October 24th, 1907. This vacation will benefit Thurston County by relinquishing the responsibility for record keeping and liability for this right-of-way. The hearing examiner concurs that the vacation request satisfied all applicable criteria, and hearing no testimony in opposition to the application, recommends that the Board of County Commissioners approve the requested vacation subject to payment of compensation. This road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan, Initiative 8, to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
Okay, any questions or comments of this?
And Craig, this will put this piece of property back on the tax rolls, is that right?
That is correct.
Any questions or comments? No, me neither. Thank you, Craig. And you have a couple, don't leave.
Oh, there's 3 of them.
All right. I will move to approve a resolution adopting the hearing examiner's recommendation for approval of the vacation of unopened right-of-way in Boston Harbor, known as 69th Way Northeast, subject to conditions as outlined in the recommendation.
Second.
So it's moved and seconded to approve the resolution adopting the hearing examiner's recommendation for this right-of-way vacation. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Nope. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. 5B, and this is a different one.
This is. On January 14th, 2020, a public hearing was held on the vacation of various portions of rights-of-way in the plat of Burbank Acre Tracts. These rights-of-way were dedicated to Thurston County by plat recorded under Auditor's File Number 57043 on July 2nd, 1912, and have never been opened or used by the public. This vacation will benefit Thurston County by relinquishing the responsibility for record keeping and liability for these small rights-of-way, which are surrounded by the petitioner's property. The hearing examiner concurs that the vacation request satisfies all applicable criteria, and hearing that no testimony in opposition to the application, recommends that the Board of County Commissioners approve the requested vacation subject to the payment of compensation. The road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
Any questions?
No, sir. We went over it at length over the last few weeks.
Okay, is there a motion?
I move to approve a resolution adopting the hearing examiner's recommendation for approval of rights-of-way vacation in Burbank Acre Tracts, subject to conditions as outlined in the recommendation. Is that accurate?
Second.
Move to approve the resignation.
Opposed motion.
Recommendation.
I just hadn't remembered us talking about
Conditions.
the Burbank Acre Tracts. That's the appropriate area? Okay. That's my motion.
Okay, seconded still?
Yes, I'll still second.
All right, it's been moved and seconded to approve the right-of-way vacation request for the Burbank Acre Tracts. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. And 5C, go ahead.
Number 3, on January 14th, 2020, a public hearing was held on the vacation of a portion of Hyatt Road Southeast. This right-of-way was dedicated to Thurston County by dedication deed recorded in Book 1 of right-of-way at page 227 on February 3rd, 1932. This will benefit Thurston County by relinquishing the liability for maintenance and record-keeping for the portion of road that serves only a single property owner. The hearing examiner concurs that the vacation request satisfied all applicable criteria, and hearing no testimony in opposition to the application, recommends that the Board of County Commissioners approve the requested vacation, subject to payment of compensation and the provision of a turnaround area for county maintenance vehicles and emergency services. This road vacation is in alignment with the county's strategic plan and Initiative 8 to support robust and well-maintained infrastructure systems for a thriving community.
All right, anything?
No, sir.
Nope, okay.
Nope. I move to approve a resolution adopting the hearing examiner's recommendation for approval of a road/right-of-way vacation on Hyatt Road Southeast, subject to conditions as outlined in the recommendation.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the right-of-way vacation request by, on Hyatt Road Southeast. Any further discussion? Nope.
No, sir.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Craig, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Agenda item number 6, public.
Excuse me, I didn't hear a vote from Commissioner Edwards.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
I heard.
Sorry, thank you.
Yes, yes.
Public Health and Social Services, Washington State HCA Healthcare Authority contract for mental health promotion program. Chris Hawkins, Program Manager. Welcome, Chris.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Chris Hawkins, Education and Prevention Program Manager with Thurston County Public Health and Social Services. I'm here to ask for your approval of a contract, a new contract from Healthcare Authority, Washington State, their Division of Behavioral Health and Rehabilitation. This contract would allow us to embark on an expanded effort in training people in the community on Question, Persuade, Refer, which is a suicide prevention training and approach. And we intend to carry out the training, a couple of trainings in the first part of this year, and then another training in the second half of 2020 or in early 2021. And this would allow us to expand capacity, particularly to serve two particular populations that are at a higher risk for suicide in our community, that being people under the age of 25 and people over, older adults. Let's just put it that way. So we are working with partners in Yelm Community Schools and the Thurston Youth Alive Coalition, which is part of Thurston Thrives, as well as the Area Agency on Aging to deliver these trainings. And a number of other partners are coming to be involved with this effort. We're asking you to approve the contract. This is consistent with Initiative 2 of the county's strategic plan, which is improve community health, well-being, and safety, in particular to increase efforts around suicide prevention and also to increase investment in programs that improve mental health and well-being for our community. So this is a $40,000 contract for the duration December 15th of 2019 to June 30th of 2021.
Okay, any questions of Chris on this topic?
No, I don't. We covered this earlier as well.
Nothing?
No questions.
Okay.
I just, I'd say that perhaps nothing that I've learned in this job in the last year has surprised me as much as the stats that we've seen on youth depression and suicidal ideation. Just very alarming. So I'm glad that we're acting affirmatively to try to, get our hands around it.
Thank you.
Yep. Okay, is there a motion?
Yes, I move to approve the Washington State Healthcare Authority Division of Behavioral Health and Rehabilitation Client Services Contract Number K4207 to carry out community-based prevention services in the Mental Health Promotion Program for the total maximum amount of $40,000 for the duration of December 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2021, and authorize the Public Health and Social Services Department Director to sign the agreement, as well as future amendments that do not change the dollar amount or duration of the agreement by more than 10%.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded to approve the Washington State Healthcare Authority contract for the mental health promotion program. Any further discussion?
No, sir.
Nope. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, that motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very
Chris.
much, Commissioners.
Number 7 is the county manager's description for on-call professional project construction management.
Rick Thomas, project manager,
Rick,
is going
Rick,
to
come
be
on up.
presenting the item for you, Commissioners.
Good afternoon, Commissioners.
Hello,
I'm
Rick.
Rick Thomas, the Special Projects Coordinator for the Office of the Commissioners. And this afternoon, on behalf of the County Manager, we're requesting authorization for the County Manager to issue an RFQ to retain a highly qualified consulting firm to provide on-call professional construction management consulting services to support the design and construction of the proposed courthouse and regional administration buildings project. After issuance of the RFQ, a county selection panel will review the proposals and will return to the county commissioners to request authorization to enter into a contract with that selected firm. The work will be defined on a task order basis as each scope of work is needed. The contract is proposed to be for an initial period of 4 years with an option to extend up to 2 additional years for a total of 6 years maximum. The initial task order would be to provide assistance to the county project manager in the pre-design build planning phase, which could include preparation of the design build RFQ, guidance with the state of Washington on their alternative project delivery approval process, and initial coordination with the city of Olympia with planning and permitting. Subsequent task orders would be anticipated for the future phases of the project once we got into the design and construction and the project closeout. This request supports many of the county strategic initiatives. I won't go name them. It'll be longer than what I just talked through. The one item I would like just to point out for the sake of everyone here, this is an on-call contract. It literally is to select and get a consultant on board and awarded. Task orders would be issued, and when the task orders are issued, that's when funding would actually be needed for those different services. So the award of the contract does not obligate the county to any funding at that particular point. So are there any questions?
Any questions?
No, I do have discussion points at some point.
This is a good time for it.
My concern with moving ahead with this is that it gives the perception that the county may think about doing what it did, it's been 10 or 12 years ago now, in which the citizens voted down a jail project and the county chose to go ahead with that project regardless. And so I am opposed to this particular measure because of that perception. It looks like we're making a plan to, maybe an end run, if you will, to go around the citizens, and I just, I can't go along with that at this point.
The concern is the perception. Do you want to dispel that perception?
Well, I guess I'd like to, but that would depend on me saying, trust me, I'm from the government. And I'm not sure that
they should.
Believe me, because we don't know who the government is. And I do not work for the government. I work for the citizens. And so that is my concern.
Commissioner, you are the government.
I work.
Trust me, you're the government.
In the government.
Trust me, you're the government.
Any questions or comments?
No. It's just we're planning for the project, and we're not obligating funds, and we're not trying to. It's not about end running anything. We won't be able to build a courthouse if the voters don't approve the financing. In the jail situation, the voters were asked, do you want to finance this in this way? I can't remember if it was a tax increase, or I don't remember the structure, but I think it was a tax increase, and the voters said no. Well, the economy turned, they scaled back the project, they found capacity, and found a way to meet a need without having to do the thing that the voters said they didn't want to do, which was pay more taxes for it. I don't really see that as irresponsible. Now, what happened after that, not getting it open, that's a different matter. But that's not what this is. We're not in any kind of situation like that because the project that we're talking about is massive. And, you know, if we don't if we don't get approval from the voters for financing, we don't do that project. There's no other way.
If I may make a comment, $200 million is an awful lot of money. There's no question about it. But I guess the point that I want to make, this is a first step in planning. And because of construction escalation at this point being 6, 7, 8% per year, I guess the way that I've started to look at it, literally every month that the project delays, literally means there's about $1 million worth of value that we don't get to put into the project. So again, this is it's just first step in planning. Thank you.
So these are simple questions. I know the answers. Is passing this motion cost the county?
It does not.
Does it obligate the county?
It does not obligate the county. In fact, we are not going to review the proposals until we know the results of the vote. And at that point, with help from the commissioners, we'll decide whether or not to go forward or not.
And I understand, I don't know if you know the answer to this, Rick, though, but if the ballot measure passes, we have this plan in place, this portion of the business plan.
Yes.
Should it fail, could we still use this plan or have this business plan, have the on-call professional project construction such folks on standby if we do something locally here up on the hill still for a plan B?
This is the type of firm that has, they're very strategic when it comes to being able to design and build master plan. And so, yes, this would be the type of consultant that could certainly be of value to us as we look at a potential plan B.
Those are like having insurance on the standby.
Correct.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Commissioner.
I guess we'll know in about 2 months how the citizens feel about this. And then I believe we'll have adequate time to discuss it at that point. Thank you.
Yeah, and I would just encourage all the citizens, vote. Whatever your stance is or your take, just vote, please.
Yeah.
Because we get slapped around if we do something without their vote. So with that, is there a motion?
I move to authorize county manager to issue a request for qualifications for on-call professional project construction management consulting services for the courthouse and regional administrative buildings project.
Second. So it's been moved and seconded to approve or authorize the county manager to issue a request for qualifications for on-call professional project construction management consulting services for the courthouse and regional administrative buildings project. Any further discussion or comment? No? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Nay.
Okay, motion carries. Thank you, Rick.
Thank you.
And now it's the time for the commissioners to report on the past week's activities. Commissioner Edwards, would you like to start?
Spent a lot of time down in the valley, I can tell you that. A lot of trips to the valley, talked to a lot of folks. It's a sad situation down there. I'm hoping we can come to some solution. I mentioned earlier that I do feel that Tacoma Power has a responsibility to the citizens in the valley. And I'll just let it go at that.
Commissioner?
Just a roundup of different things. I won't go into too much detail. Met with Senior Services of the South Sound Executive Director candidates. Justice Not Jails, a community group, wanted information on both our jail expansion project and the proposed courthouse, so I presented information on that. Attended the Climate and Clean Energy Work Group that Chris over there heads up, and attended a Chehalis Basin strategy assessment workshop about how different things are going to be monitored and combinations of actions are going to be evaluated in terms of figuring out how to best approach the Chehalis Basin, restoring habitat and providing for flood control, because that's been the focus, one of the two focuses of area of the Chehalis Basin, trying to prevent 2007 scale flooding damage. So that's coming to a head in 2020. So there's going to be some big decisions made. A whole slew of fundraisers and community groups, but that was the essence of my last week.
Thank you. And I attended or took part of a WASAC, Washington State Association of Counties Legislative Steering Committee webinar for a few hours. And I attended on February 15th, the 100th anniversary of the League of Women Voters at the Bigelow House. And they were overwhelmed by the amount of people that showed up for that. The house was packed. I think it more than exceeded their expectations. It was a pretty cool event. I attended did a Thurston community media taping with Mark Moffitt and Dr. Tim Stokes from SPSCC regarding Modern Warrior Live that will be on Thurston Community Media starting, I believe, this next month in March. Attended the Partners Steering Committee. Partners is a Thurston Thrives initiative for children, youth, and families. And on the governing board for Thurston Mason BHASO, the Thurston Mason Behavioral Health Administrative Services Organization, the governing board, along with Commissioner Menser. And last Friday night attended the Regional Housing Council, where we're meeting with the local electeds and staff trying to put together an ILA, interlocal agreement, to address how we're going to handle the homeless crisis and help people transition into a meaningful life, a more meaningful life. Attended with both commissioners last week, STEADY, the South Thurston Economic Development Initiative in the city of Yelm, talking about all the cool stuff going on in South County to promote economic development. Last night, I attended the tourism promotion area meeting at the new hotel, Hilton Gardens, right off of Henderson and I-5. And one of the coolest things I did, though, was this last Saturday, I went to the Community Center for Blacks in Thurston County, a Historical Perspective. And Dr. Thelma Jackson and a gentleman who's a historian, but also on the Historic Commission, named Ed Eckley, gave about an hour, just over an hour presentation on Blacks in Thurston County. And it was very interesting. And they expected about a dozen people. Ended up that room was packed with easily 50 people or more because it was standing room only. And it was an overwhelming response, a very good presentation by both presenters. Boy, it was a book of who's who was in attendance, really. It was very, very interesting. So with that, that's all I have. County Manager.
Thank you again, Commissioners. Let me walk you through your combined schedule for the upcoming week. The appointments that are going to be reporting today is where at least 2 commissioners will be present. You may have individual appointments on your individual calendars, will not be part of my report. Starting tomorrow, Wednesday, February 26th, 10 in the morning, you have a briefing from Public Works related to the water and sewer utilities we manage and operate here in the county. At 10:30, also from Public Works, you have a briefing related to a weed control project along the Chehalis River. 2 in the afternoon, you have a 2-hour briefing from the Board of Health, and that is related to the septic system monitoring. That is a continued conversation with the Board of Health. Thursday, February 27th, at 10:15 in the morning, you have an executive session that will last you all the way to 12 noon. And that is related to the solid waste contracts. They may be coming to your attention down the road. At 2 in the afternoon, Thursday, February 27th, you have been invited to participate on the mental health core graduation that is going to be located on this campus in Building 3, courtroom number 1. And at 5:30 in the afternoon of Thursday, February 27th, you have a meeting with the Planning Commission that is going to be located at Mercado's Restaurant. And this is the yearly appreciation to the Planning Commission for all the hard work they provide to the citizens in the county. Saturday, nothing on Friday, February 28th. Saturday, February 29th, you have been invited to participate in the Together Gala in Action. That is from 5 in the afternoon to 7, and that is going to be located in South Puget Sound Community College, located at 42206 6th Avenue Southeast in Lacey, Washington. Moving on to Monday, March 2nd, nothing on your combined schedule. On Tuesday, March 3rd, you will convene back again in this room where you will be reviewing the agenda for that afternoon the following week. And 2 in the afternoon on March 3rd, you will have your regular Board of County Commissioners meeting. That's all I have for you.
Thank you. Okay, gentlemen, do you have anything for the good of the order?
No, sir.
No? That's it? Meeting's adjourned. Thank you.